It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and it's December 31st, 2018. It's New Year's Eve day, and it's the end of 2018. So I thought I might share with you some of the projects I've just finished up, and some of them I've just started as well at the end of the year, and what my plans are, my quilting plans for the next year for 2019. So first of all, right behind me you can see my latest quilt. This started out as a little project to learn how to make flying geese. Now I know how to make flying geese, and I've made flying geese before, but I saw on Jordan Fabrics on YouTube a different way to make them. So I thought I'd give it a try, and I quite liked the way that they make their flying geese. So you can find that on Jordan Fabrics if you just do a search on YouTube for them. However, I made this little block right in here, just trying it to see how it would look. And then I thought, well, I'll add a couple of borders to it, and I did. And I'm thinking, well, this is going along kind of nice. Maybe I could make them into placemats. But I wasn't really in the mood to make floor placemats. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just add a few more elements to it and create a table runner. So I started doing some half square triangles to put them in this chevron kind of effect, and moved my way across. And then I decided, I'm having so much fun doing this, why don't I do another row? And thus I ended up with a throw size quilt, a fairly good size throw. I'm not sure what it measures. I think it's about 50 inches by about 80 or something like that. So not a bad size. I had some problems with this. All these blocks I sewed together to start with. And then I sewed all these blocks together. And then you can see I have sashing in between. And so I joined this half to this half, and when I got it all sewn together, these two halves were out of sync. These lines were not lined up. So I thought, another one of my mathematical challenged kind of things, because this was not done from a pattern. As I said, I made this up as I went along. So I did some readjustment on here and tore it out, like the sashing out, moved everything over so these pieces lined up, and then with a little bit of finagling and a little bit of trimming, I got it all in alignment. Now there are some parts that are a little uneven, but really because this fabric is so busy, you really don't notice it. You can't see them. At least I'm hoping you can't see them. Then I added an outside border as well. And again, all of this were from scraps that I had. So I've got it all together, layered. Here's my backing. And I had a little problem with the backing in the sense that my backing, got a little bit of a wrinkle in that. I just noticed that. Anyways, I didn't have enough of this material. I thought I had bought enough and I didn't. So I just put in a couple of other pieces, again scraps, in the back, and it just breaks up the back from being a whole solid piece, makes it a little bit more interesting. So now, just straighten this out. Now I'm going to quilt it, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Well, actually I am sure. I'm going to use ruler foot quilting for this. I think I'll go inside these triangles and just I'll probably do some stitch in the ditch and then do something in these as well. And the reason I'm going to use ruler foot quilting is because I want to get more used to that. I want to move away from walking foot quilting and get myself into full-fledged free motion quilting, and then from there, well, practice makes perfect. Okay, so we'll see how that works out, and I'll show this on another episode once I have it completely finished. Okay, I'm just going to pull my stool over here, and I'm going to talk to you today about some projects that I have just finished up. Start with this. I keep looking over at the one side because that's where my computer is, and that's showing me whether I'm in shot or not. So here we go. This is this side, in front of it. This is called a Sydney bag. Sydney bag. I took a class. One of the most frustrating classes I ever took in my life, but as you can see, the end result was worth it. It's a satchel kind of thing. It's got snaps onto cargo pockets at the front. It has a lined pocket on the front as well. And of course on the back it has another pocket that has a little division in between here. So that makes that pretty good. And it zips up. It's all lined on the inside as well. Let's see if I can get the light on it so you can see it. And it has another pocket. So I can find the zipper. Another zipper pocket in the interior as well, right here. Okay. It's difficult to show you all this on video, but there we go. The reason it was frustrating was because I probably bit off more than I could chew. It was a fairly advanced project, but the instructor was excellent, Deborah. She walked me through every stage of it and ripped out things for me and told me to do them again as well, because she's a bit of a perfectionist, and that's okay, because you can see the end result. I think the end result turned out very nice. So I'm very proud of that. Will I make another one? Probably not. I still think I would need help with that. Little novelty item. I created this little chicken, and this chicken is a, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the camera and bring it down. Just give me a second. Okay. I think that's a little better view. So, this little chicken, little pin cushion. I did this as an in the hoop on my embroidery machine. There was some hand sewing on this though, which much to my chagrin, because I do not enjoy hand sewing, but I had to sew the buttons onto these wings and the wings onto the body, and then I had to stuff it and stitch it up, and you create this little base piece here. That's actually, that's not my sewing, that is embroidery, a satin stitch kind of thing. You put the two pieces together and that gives you your base, and your little chicken, this little beak's bent, stands up like this. So yeah, I think that's a cute little project, and I'm happy with it. Okay, moving on. I get this. Now these are projects for the future that I'm going to talk about now a little bit. So on here you can see I did some embroidery work, and my idea behind all of this is that these are fat quarters that I've embroidered on, and I'm going to do a series of these. I'm just going to buy a bunch of fat quarters every now and then, and I'm just going to put some kind of, probably a bird, I think I'm doing a bird theme here, embroidery onto them. And these are for a future project. And that's why I'm leaving them on a fat quarter piece. Yes, you will say it's probably a waste of fabric, but it gives me enough material that I can cut it down to whatever size square that I want, and then I would incorporate it into a quilt design. So I'm just sort of, when I'm in the mood to do some embroidery, I do this now, and I'm just building up my stash of these. Now I tried a technique called trapunto, and that's basically where you have really, that's not the right side of it, this is the right side of it. This is where you have fairly thick batting that you stitch around. Now this would, and it makes it pop. Now this would pop more if I had, let's move it back, if I had gone ahead and did some quilting all the way around it. But I just wanted to try it to see how it would work. And this is done by the embroidery machine again. And it's probably difficult for you to see, but it is raised. There's actually about 3 layers of batting under this, but I think if I was to do it again in a more serious mode, I would use a high loft batting, so it would really stick out further. But it's an interesting technique, and I think it has potential. So that's just going back into my little box where I keep all the embroidery pieces as well. So, projects. This is my project box, okay? I won't leave it sitting right here, I'll just put it off to the side. Let's pull out a few things, okay? So, I have kits. This is a kit that I bought on sale, 6 months ago, 7 months ago. and I have done absolutely nothing with it. Still in the package. It's not a complicated quilt to make, because these are actually circles, they're panels already printed up for you. So I've got that to do at some point in time. I also have this panel. It's a large flower. Can't really see it that well in the package, but I bought this again to practice some free motion quilting on, but I might do it as a panel quilt, and that's what it's meant for. We'll see how that works out. Then I bought in the summer at the Creative Sewing Show all of the Quilts of Valor. This is to make a quilt, that's donated to the armed forces, and I have all the designs. It's all in like the reds and things of our country, Canada. Okay, maple leaf. And I found some background material at a guild show, so I bought a couple of meters of it as well, because for the backing, if I ever get this done. I think there's 9 blocks in total, and I did work on one. It looks like I've got one done here. Let's just take a look, and give me just a second. I'm just going over to the computer, because it went into its screensaver mode and I couldn't see whether or not I'm in shot. So I've only made to date one square, and that's this one. So you can see it's got a stylized maple leaf on it, and each of these little packages, the kits, I think they cost $5 each. They all come with the material and the instructions for what you need for creating. So I'll have to get on with that. This might be something that I might work on at one of the retreats I'm going to. I'm going to 2 retreats in the new year. One is being held by my own local sewing guild. It's a 3-day event, but I'm only going for 2 of the days, the Friday and the Saturday. I've never been to a retreat before, and I'm sure they're a lot of fun, but I thought I'm pushing my luck here. 3 days might be too much. I'll just go for 2 to start with, and we'll see how that all works out. But that might be one of the projects I'll take to that. I'm also going to a retreat in March. It's being held by my local sewing store. It's a little bit more involved. It's at a resort. This one from the local guild is just in a hall in our area, so it's not an overnight kind of thing. They call it a sew-at-home retreat. But the one I'm going to in March is at a resort about an hour and a half away from where I live, and it's much more involved. So I'm looking forward to that too, and Walter's going with me on that one as well. So we'll both be there sewing. But I have to figure out what to take. So, as I said, I have a lot of kits that are projects that I can do. Now this one I bought back in the summer. This is the pattern design, but these are the fabrics. And the fabrics are all Tim Holtz fabrics. And I love Tim Holtz, and if you ever follow any of my crafting videos, you know how much I love Tim Holtz products. So, I've got this, excuse me, and it says it makes a 52 by 70 quilt. It's called Broken Herringbone by Tim Holtz, and it includes fabric for top, pattern, and binding. It doesn't have the fabric, I don't think, in here for the backing, although that must be the background. But anyways, I have this, and as I said, I've had it since the summer. I think I bought it in July, and it's up in an area called the Kitchener-Waterloo area. We went up there for my birthday, and we did hit a lot of the quilt shops in that area, and this was one of the shops. This is where I got this. So I need to get moving on that as well. Other projects. Well, I don't know if you've ever heard of Thangles. Thangles are basically patterns, paper foundation piecing kind of a thing, that'll make half square triangles and things. But this is one that is configured so that you can make these 3 different wall hangings. Or I suppose you could stitch them together and you'll have a nice looking table runner. Now, did this come with the fabric? I don't think it did. No, not at that price it didn't. I'm sure it did. No, it didn't. But it has all these paper foundation pieces for making these. So you use fabric of your choice. So again, that might be a relatively quick little project. And we'll see. What else do I have on my project list? Well, I saw this pattern and I bought it. And oh, it has a little plexiglass thing in here. I'm not sure what that's for. I guess we'll find out. It looks like this has a lot of small pieces in it. Try and keep the glare off it. There we go. Looks kind of neat. So, the finished one is, how big does it make? Oh, it's only a 10-inch square. Oh, okay. And that little plastic piece that's in there is the pattern includes cutting template. Well, so this is only a tiny little thing. I didn't realize that when I bought it. That might be kind of fun though. Nice little wall hanging or something like that. Or it could be a table topper, something like that. Okay. I bought this from Missouri Stars called Grand Square Quilt Pattern for 5-inch print squares. And again, I'd have to get the fabric for it. Now I do have some of the fabric for some of these things laid out in this little bin. So here's some fabric that I'm not sure what I bought these for now. It's been so long I can't remember which pattern I was going to use those with. I've got some batiks. I love batiks. Oh, and then I bought at Ultimate Sewing, my local store. They were having a big sale. This was Black Friday sale, and they had big boxes of panels. So I bought 4 panels the same, and the reason I bought these 4 panels, keep them in shot here, is because I bought this book at the same time. It's called One Block Wonders, One Fabric, One Shape, One Kind of Quilts. And basically this will allow you to create a kaleidoscope quilt. Let's see if I can find something in here that will show you what I mean. It's kind of a neat process the way that you cut these pieces up to give you this effect. And I'm just looking for a picture. This one has several different designs in it. It's not just this one. Now, when I want it, I can't find it. But basically, even though the 4 panels, well, I don't know if that's it. Well, when you know. I can't find one else a good example here. But essentially, the way you cut it up, even though they're all the same panel, because you're cutting them up and you're turning them, they create a totally different look. Actually, on the back, it kind of gives you an idea of this kind of thing. So this will be kind of fun. It's a little different type of technique. So those go with that. Now this one I bought way back in the summer too, I think in June, up in a place in Aurelia. And this is a paper piecing to create this star quilt. Now I do not have the fabric for this one yet, and it's been sitting there for quite a while, but you don't have to do any Y seams with this. I'm not even sure what a Y seam is, but I've never done one, and everybody says you should fear them. So I don't know. But I do know that Y seams actually happen sometimes when you have things like diamonds and points and triangles and things like that on it. So I'll give this a try. Gives you instructions on the back and inside, and it's just basically paper foundation piecing, I guess. I have some more batiks in strips, and more of those as well. I love the batiks. Don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. They're in my project box. Oh, here's a pattern too. 9-patch and hourglass quilt with 10-inch squares. And the quilt size is 69 by 69 when it's finished, so it's a little bigger. So some of this fabric I may have figured on using for something like that. Then I have this. This is a more vintage style kit. It's called Sitting on the Fence. The fabric, here's a better shot. There's a lot of little pieces in this one. They're already pre-cut for you. But you can see what a vintage look they have to them. And the quilt looks like this. Flare off. So everything you need, with the exception of the backing probably. Yeah, it doesn't come with, you need batting and you need the fabric backing, which is the usual for kits. This one was not cheap. It was $124.95. And I bought it at a show, but then I found out that this store that sells it's not very far away from me, and I've been up to their store a couple of times. I think it's called Cozy Quilts. A great little store. Got some neat things. They seem to be more traditional in what they have to choose from, in the colors and things like that, which is okay. I like the variety. When you shop at different quilt stores, you know, everybody has their own style, and so really, by shopping around, you're not being disloyal to a store you go to all the time, okay? Because everyone is different. Okay, so that's what I've got planned for 2019. I'm sure there'll be lots of other things to do as well. Whether I get all of these done in the next year, that's another question, because I'm always learning something, and I'm kind of like, oh look, there goes a squirrel, kind of attention span. So we'll see, but I'll definitely finish this one up in the next little while. And yeah, I guess that's everything that I want to talk to you about. So let's just move this camera up for a second. That's better, you can see me now. So I hope you have a quilty new year, and I hope you have a great year in working on your quilts or whatever you're working on. All the best for 2019, and stay tuned in 2019 for more Idiot Quilter episodes. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.